Okay, so now we're gonna learn how to work with characters in Unreal Engine. So basically, a character it's a type of pawn. In fact, it inherits from the pawn class, meaning that it has all the properties of what the pawn has, plus a few more additional features. Okay, so basically, in a few words, is a character is like a sophisticated pawn that has more things to it. And more often than not, we will be using a character over a pawn just because it has like more functionalities. Okay, so let's go ahead and create one. So right here in the content folder, let's right click blueprint class and then let's choose character. As you can see, a character is a type of pawn that includes the ability to walk around. As you can see, it's as similar to a pawn, but it's meant to be able to move around and be easier to control. Okay, so let's click on that one and let's call it my character. Okay, let's double click on that. Now here is where we have all the information about our character. Okay, so let me just explain a few things about it. Basically, this capsule you see here is kind of like the hitbox of our character, basically where the area that it composes. Of course, we are gonna put later something on top of this so that it's not just like an invisible capsule, but essentially that is the character itself for now. Then we have this arrow that means where the character is facing to. So right now, by default, our character is facing that way. Okay, so this arrow will be there as a reference, and that's this arrow component here to indicate which way the object is facing. Then we have this mesh. This character mesh, it's basically where we're gonna put the skin, let's say, of our character, like what we're gonna put on so that we can see the body of the character. And then we have the character movement. This one is really important because this one is where we set many properties about how the character can move. So when we click on this, we on the right side of the details panel, we're gonna have some of the information about how the character can move, such as let's say the maximum, the how it can walk, let's say the maximum step height, the maximum walk speed, the speed while crouching, very specific details about the movement. This one we're gonna be using as well, the jumping. So the jump velocity is like really like how much force does it have in the jump. So the higher it is, if it's this, the higher the jump will be. And so on and so forth. We're gonna go through this little by little. Okay, so right now let's just add a camera component so that we can see our character in the game. So add a camera component and just do it in kind of like a first person view. So let's just have it something like this. Okay, something like this is fine. Okay, so now our character is created with our first person view. But now let's add something more. What about we add the functionality so that this character can jump? Okay, so let's go on event graph. And then here is the blueprint of our character. So one thing we're gonna do, we're gonna go here and right click and then look for we have to map like what bottom we should want the jump to be at. So let's use the spacebar. So type of spacebar keyboard event, this one. So in this way, when the spacebar is pressed, then that's when the jump occurs. So to jump, we're gonna look for one called the jump function, this one right here. And as you can see, the target is the character. So this jump function is already referring to the character. So when we press the spacebar, we are gonna be able to jump, okay? So let's compile and save. And now let's go ahead and take a look in our game. So now the thing is, when we run our game, we still are having the default pawn as the chair we did. So let's change that, similar to how we did the other time. So we're gonna go to my game mode, and then we're gonna change the default pawn class to now be the my character. Okay, compile and save. And now, when you run this, you get the first person view. So we are not really seeing our character because remember, this is first person, so we see through the eyes of the character. And now, if you press the spacebar, you jump. Just make sure you click on the viewport because if you don't click on it, it's not gonna react. So click on it, then spacebar, you can jump. It is jumping a little bit low, so to change that, you can go back to my character, to the viewport panel, click on character movement, and then here, remember I was talking about this jumping force, the jump velocity. Let's put that to 800. Okay, now compile and save. And then in this way, when you run now, you jump much higher. Okay, so in this way, that's how you can create and control the jump for a character. And then remember to also set it as your default pawn in the level.